Hello everyone, this is Ponder on Weather. In this update, we've got a very active day in the weather department, so we're going to break things down for you and go over all the details as we take you through the first week of December. So let's take a look at the overall hazard map this morning. It is busy, guys. First of all, we've got numerous winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and even a blizzard warning happening in portions of Wyoming with very heavy snow. They could even see some snowflakes flying today in Seattle. But we got a pretty good snow swath coming through. It's already snowing this morning, but we're going to be adding to those totals in and around Colorado, portions of Denver here. That'll swing up through the upper Midwest with a pretty good snowstorm that's going to be swinging across. Complements of that cold front that's going to be diving down from the northwest to the southeast. But unfortunately, in the warm sector, we have a very active day for severe storms. If not, a tornado outbreak is going to be unfolding for a good chunk of the south here. So that's why they do have that rare moderate risk of enhancement in place. So we're going to break things down for you. But here's the overall temperatures this morning. You can actually see where the cold front is. Well, to the northwest there, that's where we could be seeing some snow flying, even into portions of Seattle today. But now into the warm sector, I don't need to tell you, 63 degrees in Dallas. That is plenty warm. These are low temperatures, guys. So this is the main concern within this area right here for severe storms and tornado outbreak later on this afternoon. So let's really fine tune this and go over the tornado possibilities today. This is your probability outlook. All these areas in green, say from Houston all the way into portions of Kentucky, have at least a 2% chance of seeing a possible tornado today. Once you get in that brown shaded area, it has about a 5% probability, which includes the Shreveport area into the Beaumont area. Far south is Lafayette, getting into, say, New Orleans, into Tuscaloosa, all the way to the north into Paducah, and as well as portions of Jonesboro and to Little Rock. But once you get into this yellow and this red shaded area, that 10% probability, or that red shaded area, that 15% probability, that's where we could see some of those stronger tornadoes. That includes a strong EF2 type tornado. So especially into portions of Starksville, into Jackson, back into Vicksburg, into Monroe, into Memphis, Tennessee. These areas are going to be under the gun and high alert for tornadic supercells that could actually be some long track tornadoes. So long track means lands on the ground and then extends and can be on the ground for miles, if not 50 or 100 miles today. We hope that does not happen, but the parameters are there for something of that nature could unfold later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. And here's the latest NATO cast as well, and it's kind of rare to see some of these higher numbers of these percentages. Just give you another idea of a perspective from the Storm Prediction Center. This is the NATO cast, and yeah, when you're seeing some 30, if not 45% possibilities, there's only one more level to go. This is a rare day, so unfortunately, there's a high probability of definitely seeing tornadoes today, and some of those could be pretty intense on the strong EF2 or potentially even greater. So another concern is some larger hail. So this is also a concern within this whole sector. So again, where you have that marginal risk to the slight risk, all the way up into the moderate risk, especially in this kind of dotted shaded area, this is the area that could see those larger hailstones. We're talking golf ball, even tennis ball, even baseball size hails, probably not out of the question today within this sector where you see that dotted shaded zone. So we've got all three modes of severe weather, and the wind is going to be high as well. So the main concern with this system is their tornadic supercells, then the large hail, and then the wind. But we also have a flood risk as well. So we've got a lot of rain coming in from portions of the deep south. So anywhere in these slight risk areas, we're talking easily potentially 2 to 4 inches today. These areas in the green shaded area, 1 to 3 inches. But once you get to this red shaded area further to the south, we're looking at 4 to possibly 6 inches of rainfall. So on top of the tornadic threat, the wind threat, and the hail threat, we do have a flood threat further south. you live into portions of Mississippi into Alabama here. So I'm going to be going live, doing live coverage, and we're going to break this thing down for you. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell and hit the like button right now so you'll get notified when I go live, which I think in about 2 o'clock time frame. But let's break it down for you. Here's the overall setup around noon. So this is about noon time frame. I'm in the central time zone, so this would be closer to the 1 o'clock as we get further off to the east. But yeah, the storm should start to develop in and around portions of the Houston area, getting into Louisiana, back into Arkansas, and the northern portions of Mississippi here. This thing really start to fire up once we get into the 4 o'clock time frame. This is when we're probably going to see more tornadoes, unfortunately, start to make touchdown here into portions of Louisiana, getting into Mississippi. There's parts of western Tennessee, into portions of Alabama here as we go into the 4 o'clock time frame. But I think the main time frame of concern is right as you get into the evening time frame. Remember, the sun goes down fairly early now. It's down typically about 5 o'clock. So mainly this is going to be, unfortunately, a nighttime event, and that it increases the element of concern because these storms are already going to be moving at 40, 50 miles an hour. You can't see them coming. And then you got some potentially large tornado on the ground. It's going to be at nighttime too. So, and it looks to be a kind of a longer duration event because you saw the radar by noon. Here's about 8 o'clock. And then once we go into the midnight time frame, it's still alive. So we could be looking at least 12, if not 15 hours of concern for tornadic supercells. And it's really not until this cold front. This is at midnight. This is the cold front coming in on the backside. So we're going to be looking for the speed of this cold front. So once this cold front entrenches in this warm sector, that's when things will start to rapidly fall apart. But it may not be until closer to the 4 o'clock in the morning time frame, because there's the cold front through Mississippi and through Alabama. And once it gets into portions of West Virginia, into Ohio, getting into portions of, say the Carolinas, then things start to really rapidly decrease on the severe weather front. And then you're just looking at for some moderate to heavy rain in these sectors. And I think we still can hold strong even in the 4 o'clock time frame of those severe storms and tornadic supercells even further south, as the cold front will be lagging behind further south you go. But you can see the demarcation line of the training thunderstorms, and that's where we could be seeing that flood risk later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. But there's going to be a snow aspect of it too, and we could be looking at some heavier snows extending into the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, don't be surprised if you see some wet snowflakes fly into the Seattle area today. But man, look at those mountain snows. There's going to be really increasing in the Sierra Nevadas here, back into the Cascades, getting into the swath into the upper Midwest. So a pretty good snow swath coming in for the Colorado into portions of Boulder there, but then a good 2 to 6 inches and a little bit higher amounts as you go into portions of Wisconsin. So look at the rain. So here's the rain aspect with this system coming in from a good chunk of the southeast. It'll extend through the Ohio Valley, that'll extend into the northeast. There's your graph on the right hand corner of the screen. But with that trough and that cold front coming in, we've got some pretty good flooding rains, healthy rains along the coast, but also beneficial rains that will extend in a good chunk of California. So this is a welcome sight to see rain like this over the next couple of days through by Saturday morning. So let's break things down for you as we get into next week. So next week, things are going to be starting to be interesting. We have that cold front come through, but we're going to be rapidly rebounding. And this is your temperature anomalies through that Sunday going into, say, Thursday of next week. So we're going to be seeing a southeast ridge really start to develop, with the wind starting to come around again with that southwest, south wind. And then we're going to have really true Arctic air pressing in from the north. Definitely by far the coldest temperatures of the season. Look at the temperature anomalies of 30 degrees below average temperatures, and further to the south you got 25 degrees above average. And where that zone is, you're going to have the kind of the demarcation line, or the kind of the the basically you're going to have some of that overrunning aspect to it, where you can have the warm moist air feed into that cold air from the north, and we could be looking at a lot of heavier precipitation, but then some pretty good snows are going to be extending right across this boundary line up to the north. So let's break this thing down for you for the overall precipitation anomalies as we head into that Sunday, going into the middle of next week, with most of the rain with the southern jet fairly active, is going to be swinging across through portions of Texas, getting into Oklahoma and Arkansas, into Missouri, and of course the Ohio Valley. This will extend into Michigan, getting into Wisconsin, back into Iowa here, into Minnesota. But there's the snow with that cold air pressing from the north. We're going to have some pretty good snow. So if we add those totals from the first 5 days to the last 5 days for the next 10 days of snow, that's a pretty good snow swath extending. So we're going to have very warmer conditions further to the south, but where it's cold, it's going to be snowing big time up to the north, and we're going to be picking up some pretty healthy totals over the next 10 days. But things get interesting for the rest of you guys beyond that, because I do feel the dam breaks and the cold air will finally win out and break down that southeast ridge once we get into the latter part of next week. With the high pressure really starting to build over Alaska by then, and then over Greenland, we'll lock it over the top and pull the cold air underneath, and it's going to be too much. It will finally break that barrier and send the colder temperatures further south. But definitely after that, there's definitely indications once these two elements get locked into place, the cold air really could stick around for an extended period of time for much of the lower 48. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely stay tuned for updates. Be sure to watch my live coverage that will start about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and then turn the notification on to get all my notifications when I will go live. So I'll see you on the live coverage later on this afternoon.